Hey everybody, it's Matt here, and today I have got the Elgato Key Light 2800 lumens, which is obviously 2800 lumens LED Wi-Fi controllable, dimmable, full spectrum light, hopefully for filming. This one has a space-saving design. It's meant to have a clamp on it so that we can clamp onto a desk or other similar things like that, which I'm keen on because I have pretty limited space here to work with, so anything to optimize that space is a good thing. According to the side of the box here, it is a minimum height for the extendable bar of 55 centimeters or 22 inches, maximum of 125 centimeters or 49 inches. And its recommended maximum is kind of in the middle of that, 90 centimeters or 35 inches. According to the back of the box here, we've got a bunch of tech specs. Brightness, maximum 2800 lumens, and it is adjustable. Color range is 2900 to 7000 Kelvin, also adjustable. Then power consumption is up to 45 watts. So even though this is an LED light, it potentially uses a decent amount of power and it's pretty bright. As it says here, it's got 160 LEDs in this light, so there's quite a bit going on. It weighs in at 1.25 kilos or 2.75 pounds. It supports Wi-Fi 2.4 gigahertz, 802.11 BG or N. And to use the Wi-Fi, it requires a Wi-Fi enabled PC, Mac, iOS or Android device. It does say for the Wi-Fi that a Wi-Fi connection is required for the initial pairing. So that's the back of the box there. It's suggesting using it gaming and so on. I'm planning on using it while I'm doing stuff like this because I could use something better here. So that's the plan anyway. So according to the end of the box here, we should have the key light, obviously, power supply, our pole stand with desk clamp, should have 3 cable clips there as well. And of course also a quick start guide is there too. Underneath this cardboard cover, we've got here our quick start guide. This one's got how to set it up, how to connect it, how to adjust the height, how to set up the desk clamp and all that sort of thing. So that all looks pretty straightforward. Looks like the maximum load it's got on the clamp is 2 kilos. Then we've also got software installation and setup. So it looks like we can run that off of a computer or of course off of a smartphone as well. And then of course over here, how to reset it. So that looks like that's all the key things in the quick start guide. Then underneath that in here, wrapped in paper, this looks to be our light. So that is the light itself. We've got a tripod screw mount on every side of it. So we can mount it in any direction, doesn't matter. We've got that tripod mount there. On the back of it, do have a warning about it getting hot during use. Down the bottom is where we've got our power input. And then of course our on, off and reset switch. So this side, the single line is the on, the circle in the middle is off. And this one, the 2 on the right, if we press and hold it in, is the reset button. So it won't stay in on its own on that right side. So you can't accidentally reset it. You've got to hold it in. In terms of power, it says this is going to be a 13 volt 4 amp power adapter. So let's see what else comes in the box. In this little box, we've got our power adapter, which appears to be a universal adapter. We've got in here our cable clips. So there's a couple of different sizes of those for clipping our cable onto our desk clamp pole. So we've got a different size for each tier of the pole and they all nest together. Then in here we have our transformer and power cables. This end is the one that goes into the light. And then the transformer actually has a multi-country adapter on it. So we've actually got adapters here for a bunch of different countries, including Australia, the US, Europe, and UK. Then we also have in here a rubberized washer, and that's going to go on the top of our pole here, which is currently just the exposed metal. So putting this on here is going to help to protect the light or anything else that we might put on this pole. If we get this one out of the box, that's the pole. So this is our desk clamp at this end, and looking at that, it does look to be a pretty solid, pretty sturdy clamp. This seems to be a really nice, easy to use system as well. If we unscrew that, this looks quite padded on both sides of the clamp. I like the fact that our clamp here is nice and flat, like against the back of the clamp. There's not much room for movement. So the adjustment on the clamp is fairly smooth process. It feels like a really sturdy bolt and a clamp. We've got a little button on the bottom, which is going to let us freely rotate that handle. So if it's in a fairly narrow space, and when you get to that point where it's done all the way up, you don't like where that handle is, might be poking up from the desk, you can use that button there to then adjust it and move it under the desk or what have you. There's definitely been a bit of thought going into that from Elgato on how this might work. In terms of extension for the pole, these are basically a ring tightening system. So counterclockwise is to loosen these up and clockwise is tightening it. So Counterclockwise should be all the way loose, and then we can just slide those out. And it's the same for the second one up here. So we've got 2 extendable points on these. They are pretty firm. I found the first time I loosened these off, it takes a bit of force. Once you've done that though, they do loosen up and definitely work better. Screw that all the way on to tighten it up, and that's nice and solid. This top one here where the light's actually going to mount on, this one's just a simple thumb adjustment there, and we can totally turn that around 180 degrees on the top of the clamp. And this is adjustable as well on the top of the pole. That's just a screw-on system too, and then tighten it up once we've arranged that in the direction we want to point it, and we can lock that in just by tightening it up again. And that's all done with the same single thumb screw here. So loosening that one off lets us adjust the angle of the joint up the top, but also lets us rotate. That's really easy to use and adjust. So let's say we adjust this. You can see these ring screws, they do come all the way off. So if you unscrew it all the way, that's when it becomes the easiest to adjust, but of course you then got to screw it back on all the way down to tighten it. So I did find that very helpful when it came to adjusting this the first time. Once I had that though, nice and easy to work with from there on. So it comes to clamping this onto the desk. I'm just going to expand this out as far as we need it. Make sure you give yourself plenty of room to avoid damaging those pads on the clamp. You don't want to be trying to force it onto the desk, so we're just going to put it something like that. It should settle nice and easily. Tighten that one up. Should be nice and solid, and this clamp feels really sturdy. It's actually more solid, I think, than some monitor desk clamps I've used before. Now we've done that, we can go ahead and set up the light on here. So I'm just going to leave this at this height for ease of viewing. And then the lamp, because we've got that mount on top, bottom and sides, we can actually mount this in any direction, any orientation. So I'll just do that. And it does need to be screwed on. Because we can fully adjust this mounting point in any direction, it makes it really easy to set this up whatever way we want it to go after we've put it on. Now we do of course need to connect up our power. We're going to plug the power cable in up there, like so, and then of course we need to set up whichever one of the universal plugs we're actually going to be using. So that just clips onto here, and there's a twist to attach mechanism. So I'm just going to twist that. This clips into place. We need to change it. Press that down to release, and then we can turn it back the other way and just pop straight back off. So this transformer does support multi-voltage inputs, 100 volts up to 240 volts. So it is truly a universal adapter. You can use it anywhere in the world. So let's plug this one in and test it out. So we're all hooked up. There's no indicator lights or anything to indicate that we've got any kind of power in here, but we've got this button up the bottom here. So that's our power button. So we just switch it that way to go on. So the first time I've switched this on, it's flashed 3 times, which indicates it is actually available for pairing, and it's then come on solid. So we can go ahead and pair this with the device now. There's no configuration available on the lamp itself. All the configuration is done via app or on the computer. So it does need that Wi-Fi pairing to be configured, but as you can see, it is really flexible here. We can adjust that very freely. There's a lot of mobility in this ball joint on the top of this clamp. So it gives us a lot of flexibility of how we use it. It feels super solid. There's a little bit of wobble to it, and I imagine the higher that we extend this, it's going to increase that. But even so, it feels really solidly locked onto the desk and feels super sturdy. So extended up all the way on this middle tier, there's definitely more wobble to it now, but it doesn't feel like it's going anywhere. So that is the Elgato 2800 lumens key light with desk, clamp and pole for mounting. Super easy to use, really solid and very bright. Downside is obviously there's no controls on the lamp for how bright it is or the warmness. All of that is done via the app. So you do need to do that Wi-Fi connection to get that working. But the plus side is it's then also possible to automate a lot of your settings in there with shortcuts and so on in the app as well. So that's pretty cool. So I hope you found this video helpful. For more information and pricing on these lamps, make sure you check out the affiliate links that are down in the description. And of course, give this video the thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this from me. Bye for now.